Hi, how are you guys doing? So let's go to the second part of the audio drama of Batman The Dark Knight. If you have not seen the first part, I would highly recommend because the video is such a high quality and awesome production. The story of course is amazing, so to keep up with the story, see the first part, then go and come back here to see it again. Well, let's continue with the story with Batman finally having to face his biggest enemy right now, which is the mutant leader. Will he be able to beat him up even though he is way past his prime? All of that and more you'll find out right now in this video, so don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to leave a like, and let's go with this video. Now we start to see people's movement about what Batman is doing around town, but mostly bad reactions.
Incidents of violence to criminals continue to abound in Gotham. We cannot be sure which are the work of Batman.
And it is really interesting to understand that the writer wanted us to understand what was Batman's popularity. Even though he was doing some good, even though it wasn't legal, people still benefited from it indirectly and treated him badly because they didn't want their hands to be dirty, so they used Batman for it and then attacked him afterward. And as I said the last episode, did you guys remember the two victims that Batman rescued, the two girls in an alley? Well, one of them, inspired by Batman, starts to use a suit that she made for herself, a suit that was used by former Batman sidekick Robin, and now we need to understand her name. Now her name is Gary, and she's already training to at least try to do what Batman does, like climb into walls, and she understands how hard it is, almost falling down on something because of how Gordon is fighting against crimes committed by the mutants, and after killing one of their members who tried to murder him, he gets a mandatory retirement, basically for him to be safe.
Who will replace Jim Gordon? And what will become the official position on Batman?
A kid who is an heir to the empire of Gums in Gotham gets kidnapped. You can only imagine who's gonna be there to save. As the three mutants stand behind the door, they hear somebody trying to break in. Hearing that, they shoot the door. But the only thing that comes out of it is a bat that attacks one of them. But the other guy just looks at the bat and for some reason thinks that is Batman. And he just blasts his friends out of the window with multiple shots. Next to him, Batman comes out of the wall and knocks him down. The third guy holds the child ready to kill him, but Batman, cold-blooded as he is, without saying a word, he just grabs one of the guy's guns and blasts the guy off without hitting a single shot to the kid rescuing him.
A ruthless, monstrous vigilante strikes at the foundations of our democracy, maliciously opposed to the principles that make ours the most noble nation in the world.
And honestly, this Batman got a place in my heart, in a very special place, because this is the first one, at least that I remember. Actually, he seems some fine torturing methods, because trying to understand from one of the mutants, like, who is the supplier, he just says with him, under a gargoyle in the top of the building, torture him. That's the Batman that I want to see in the movie, the one who's not scared of breaking some bones. After that, we see Carrie going around town trying to stop some, small crimes. One of them putting like a big firecracker in the pocket of a guy who was committing scams against people on the street. And after that, we see one of the most heartbreaking scenes in the whole comic. There's like a lady which is visibly weak after working hours and hours and is coming back home. And with their hard-working money, she bought like a crayon box to her kid. Then some mutants come down and grab her purse, gets something out of it, and just throws at her. And as she touches her purse, she notices that nothing was taken from her. But as she's noticing that there is now like a round metal thing just like an apple, she doesn't have too much time to react as the bomb blows out the whole train and a lot of people die there.
If it's war they want, I've got just the thing.
Carrie follows some thugs that are going to some deposit, and it looks like something big is gonna go down, and she knows that Batman is gonna be there. She needs to meet him, and she was right. He was going to that deposit by using also his old Batmobile to go there as fast as possible. But if you thought that the Christian Bale Batmobile was big, this one eats his car. Because as the mutant leader is making his speech with her army about creating chaos in Gotham and ordering all of them to kill Batman and Gordon, Batman arrives with a surprise blast.
I listen for as long as I can stomach it.
Mutants surrender or you will be destroyed. This was the phrase that he said. You just see this humongous tank, like the height of it must be like 2 or 3 people tall. It looks like a real tank, but with a bigger variety of guns and with way more endurance. He even claims that there's nothing on this planet that can break its shell, literally. But as I said, even though this Batman is different from the other ones, he doesn't freely kill people, so he uses many weapons that used to contain crowns like tearing gas, smoke bombs, or hypersized bullets that make you want to reconsider all your actions. You just hear on the background all those bullets that they try to shoot against him, but it's futile. Even Batman claims that they are almost killing each other because they are launching rocket launchers and they just deflect on the tank and hit each other, so he technically isn't killing you. And you know, after facing all of the Mutants' army, there's only one person left, which is the Mutant leader. The Mutant leader demands Batman to leave this tank and face him one-on-one. He almost lands the final strike to him, but then he remembers who he is.
Though that means crossing a line I drew for myself.
That man leaves the tank and goes right at the Mutant leader, punching him first right at the gut and hoping that he isn't a heavy hitter. But then he uses his claws to grab Batman's back, and to separate himself, Batman just tries to kick him, but it's too slow and it's easily deflected. And then he gets delivered a fast kick by the Mutant leader right in his crotch. He almost faints just with this kick. Of course, the leader is not human, so his strength is unmatched. Just to show how he resists, and he lets Batman take a couple of punches on him, but as I said, almost useless as he fights back with him, delivering Batman some of what he gave him. The Mutant leader gets a crowbar to finish Batman off, but all of a sudden Carrie, who was watching this whole time, jumps right into him and stops him from murdering Batman. Batman uses his last strength to launch a glass bomb in the Mutant leader's face, incapacitating him from some time, and Carrie goes to see if he's okay. She helps Batman to get up on the Batmobile, and as he's laying down on the table almost hallucinating, she helps to relieve his pain with some bandages on his arm, and they go directly to the Batcave. And as Batman goes along in the dark to find some place to rest in the cave, Carrie walks a little bit more and contemplates what was Robin's old suit display that is there to be contemplated by Batman. And we see throughout the story you can see terrorist attacks of what happened throughout Gotham that allegedly are inspired by Batman. Even though they weren't correlated with Batman, it was mostly a statement by the media to claim that, you know, Batman inspired all of those crimes because he's a rogue and he's an outlaw, so he must be prosecuted. And as the media also puts pressure on the mayor for him to put Batman in a cage and try to calm down Gotham in some diplomatic way, he tries to make peace with the Mutant leaders, paying the Mutant leader a visit. So he goes with the Commissioner Gordon to meet the Mutant leader now arrested in his cell. Commissioner Gordon leaves him there. He needed only 10 seconds. He hears a strange noise, and as he walks there, he just sees that the Mutant leader ripped the mayor's neck apart with his teeth, killing him, of course. In the back, Alfred asks Batman to try to understand why it's Batman with Carrie. He carries on to say like she's young, she's smart, and she could be a good fit to help him fight the mutants. But Alfred remembers Batman about what happened with Jason Todd, and Batman calmly says,
I will never forget Jason. He was a good soldier. He honored me, but the war goes on.
Right after the mayor incident, Commissioner Gordon welcomes the new commissioner with Gallagher. Gordon is impressed by her resume, but it's clear that it was called because of her proposition against Batman. Then Batman gets Carrie to dress up like a mutant and goes with her to put their plan in practice. She talks with a bunch of mutants, all of them meet each other in this specific place, almost like a sewage deposit, and the information just goes on and on with all the other mutants remaining in the city. And as time goes by, almost all of them are united in the same place. Gordon and Batman look at this big crowd, and Batman needs to ask Gordon this favor, explaining to him that these mutants cannot be arrested, they need to be defeated and humiliated. Gordon meets up with the mutant leader, then unlocks his cell, and as he walks out of it, he sees an opening in the wall that leads to a sewer. He crawls for a couple of minutes throughout the sewers, and as he sees the opening, a silhouette appears, slowly dragging him out of the sewage. But Batman was the guy who was dragging him out of this hole, throwing him in this sewage depository that all of the mutants are now united to witness the second round in the fight of the mutant leader against Batman. They are fighting in the sewage waters. Batman's plans is simple: strike, incapacitate him as fast as possible, but he needs to be smart as well because he knows that the mutant leader is too fast and too strong for him. So he makes a cut in the mutant's eyebrow, leading to the blood flowing through his eyes, making him a little bit blind for a while. He throws more water in his eyes and then incapacitates his left arm, but his right one swings in Batman's face strongly, but he smartly grabs the mutant's right arm and breaks down below the elbow. They hit each other at the same time and fell into the waters. Batman uses the water around him to suffocate the mutant leader, using like a jiu-jitsu move, finish him off with another awesome catchphrase.
This isn't a mud hole, it's an operating table, and I'm the surgeon.
Game over, it's Batman's victory. And with this awesome fighting scene, we are finished with the second book of Batman the Dark Knight. This part specifically was amazing, seeing Batman overcome his challenges as his own. Now so he needs to use his strengths and his abilities in their smarter way and exploit all these enemies' disadvantages. Not only that, using his equipment just like the tank that he used, and of course getting the help of others just like Carrie did with him and Gordon as well. thank you guys so much for watching out. I'll see you guys on the next video, in the next review. Stay tuned for part 3 coming next week, and I'll see you guys on the next video. So goodbye and peace.